Yo, welcome to Music as a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean, and Music as a Day Job is brought to you by the Concert app. Today's question: should I pay to open for famous artists? Now, here's the thing about this. I just want to sit and talk logically to you. Here you go. The first thing I always ask is what's the goal to open for a famous artist? Now, there's a difference between selling tickets to open for a famous artist and paying to open for a famous artist. When you sell tickets to open for a famous artist, it makes sense. And I'll tell people the hack to do this actually is when you sell tickets to open for a famous artist, go onto the page and say you have the tickets and you'll drop them off. Like go onto the Facebook page where the promoter promotes the thing and then say hey, because then his fans already will be like, yo, you dropping off the tickets and I'm gonna get them for the same price or whatever. Then that makes it easier for them versus how they would have to buy tickets, mattering how they have to buy tickets. If they have to buy at roll call, like if it's a lower level, if they're buying online, if they're buying all online, then just say kind of like support independent artists. I'm gonna be on the show. I want to just meet fans before whatever, boom boom boom, and then that will help you do that. However, now when you pay to open for an artist, that's different because you're paying, you're not getting the tickets, you can't make your money back. And so I mean, you can't you really you just lose money. So like for instance, if you had the tickets and you sold the tickets, then the fans actually paying for you to perform. When you pay directly to perform, you're just coming off of money. Now, so the question I'll ask you is, as I said, what's your goal with this? So when you think about this is why I always tell people like selling tickets is the way to go because when you sell tickets, even for an independent show, you're still saying, hey, I'm going to bring my fans and I'm going to get people that want to come see me. So then you're keeping your fans happy. On the other end, you have a chance to grow fans because they get to see you around your fans and the contagiousness gets to the other fans. And then you have the opportunity to gain fans and consumers. When you do it for a national, what people naturally are going to think is, hey, you know, I'm about to be in front of all these famous people. I'm about to, I mean, not famous people. I'm about to get in front of all these fans of this famous person. Now, how do you actually capture those fans? I know I get the nostalgia of it. Like, I get the excitement. I've done shows like with big people. We did Summer Jam multiple years, 15,000. Uh, we headlined 420 in Colorado four times, I'm pretty for sure, which is 60 to 80,000 people in the crowd. And we were the headline going on at 420. Um, the gist of what you I think what people what they think versus what is the outcome isn't the same. So people get caught on the nostalgia of being in big shows. Like, man, I'm in all these big shows and with the hope that something happens where someone sees them. Because back in the day, this is Music as a Day Job brought to you by the Concert app. Artists looking for shows, Concert app. Fans looking for independent artists, Concert app. The Concert app is an artist accelerator app that takes artists from opener to headliner to on tour and gives the fan the best experience in independent live music. If you're an artist, get onto the app. You can see the shows all around the United States. All you got to do is select a slot and then agree to the details, and you're on a show right away. When you did stuff like this, you had a chance to get seen. Like there'd be like a manager back there and or like a label rep or whatever, and they'd see the openers, they'd look for new people to come to get on the labels. It's not like that now. So half the time the people who are with the label and the people who are with that artist, they don't even come to that artist performance. So and they're not looking for talent. They're just looking for people to either bring fans to their show so they can keep their afloat. They can keep their career afloat, or they're just like they just have you on there to fill time. The booker or the venue has people fill time until the national gets there. So then now you're in a space where how are you going to capture these fans? Because you have to be worried about your career. I get the idea that you're saying, hey, I get to perform in front of all these people, but what does it bring to you other than performing in front of all those people? So then you have to look at it in the form of, hey, can I actually capture these fans? And so the only time it makes sense to pay for this is if you understand what you have to do to capture the fans. So then if you're saying, hey, I'm gonna capture these fans through I'm gonna get them from like there's different ways. are you going to go out in the crowd and talk to everybody? Which I always tell people, if you're going out in the crowd and you're going to talk to people and you can say, hey, I'm going to talk to 100 people tonight, and then I'm going to get so out of 100 people, I just got 20 new fans. So 20% are going to be the turnover. You can actually even say, like, sometimes we would do national shows. We wouldn't pay to be on national shows, but we would do national shows because we knew, for instance, our fans would come and then that would make other fans turn over. As I said, the contagiousness. We also would do them from the form of if I needed something to look some way online for a moment. So then if you're trying to gain fans online, like you're going to do the work online, you're going to get people to sign up and be excited and stuff like that about who you are and give them a perception of you by doing the big shows. That's another way. So you're going to do the work online. No matter what you do, there's work on the other end that you have to do. A lot of people just want to get and do the show with the national and be in front of everybody and everything like that, and then it's nothing. I see tons of artists that just do national shows all the time. Nothing. Never get to the point of getting paid for shows, never get to the point of headlining shows, never get to the point of anything. Because what's happening is the national comes through. The people come for that national. They don't care for that opening act. The opening act goes just to do the show, and then they didn't get any fans. They didn't save any fans. They didn't use they didn't get the footage or anything correctly so they could use it for something else. It has to be another reason why you're doing it. Otherwise, it's kind of useless. I get it the first time because, yes, the excitement of being like, yo, I might get to open for like one of my favorite artists or artists I grew up on or whatever. And it makes sense. However, from that point forward, it has to make sense for your career for you to do it. And a lot of times the way I would spread over my career was I knew the national shows was like, because see, I was already doing like, in my hometown, I was already bringing like close to 1,000 people to a venue. So then it was like, I already have a good looking show that way. So then what would happen is I would bring my fans to like the national show. Then when I get on stage, it gets me more fans in my own hometown. You see what I'm saying? And then I would replicate that in other cities. So then if I had to get on a national show in another city, what I knew what I had to do is like, let's say, I'll give you an example. Like I would do shows in Grand Junction, which is 4 hours away from me. I would go up there, get on a national show, and then I would stay all night and just talk to people and start gaining fans. So then I knew I was like, yo, I got to get to like at least 50 fans in Grand Junction. So then I can start coming back up here and doing my own thing. That's the goal, for me to do my own thing. So like that's what a lot of people aren't looking at. They're looking at, hey, let me just do national shows and just stay on national shows all the time and I'm the national kid. That didn't make sense. So you have to be in a space that you say, hey, I'm going to do this so I can get my own shows and I can put my own situation forward. That's the only way to do it. So then you're saying like, yo, I'm just going to do these national shows so I can get my footing, so I can get fans, and then I can do my own show. So then, like, for instance, if I'm going to 1,000-person crowd, I know I can get 50 people. So then 50 people next time will come see me at this other bar or something like a smaller place, and that's how I'll start making money up here. Get that to 100 people. Then now I'm going to move to the next spot. Get that to 200-300 people, and now you're back in the same building. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the logic that has to exist in this versus just the idea of just doing the national show. So when you're paying, if you decide to pay, as I said, I've never paid to be on a national show ever. So, but then if you did decide to pay to be on a national show, then just be like, yo, I'm going to pay to be on this national show because this is what's going to make sense for me to do this in the next step. When you never have to pay for national shows if you've already made a fan base somewhere. And this is where, once again, we talk about selling tickets and why people shouldn't cry about selling tickets and stuff like that. Because the idea of selling tickets is the fan is paying for your career, and then you are figuring out how to turn them into consistent fans so then you can get further, and then you never have to pay to be on national shows. A lot of the places, I'd even get on national shows in other people's cities because they knew in my city I was so popular. So then I would be able to get on to other shows in other cities and they'd put me on because they'd see how popping I was myself in another city. So you see, it's a lot that goes into this that you have to really think this out and kind of be like, this is why I'm doing it. It all has to have a blueprint, has to have rotation to it of why you're doing it. Otherwise, I would say never pay to be on a national show. The nostalgia only happens once. And then after that, if you want to do this for a career. Otherwise, it's just like, yeah, you could do that and just keep paying to be on national shows, everything like that. But see, that's not even selling tickets. Just paying is just coming out of money. So then you'd have to make up in somewhere. Now another spot, I'll just give you one more spot that you could make up in now. And that's, let's say you were selling merch. You could possibly, if you're creative enough with your merch, I've watched a couple dudes do this. They would pay to go on like someone's tour and then make up the money in merch and more. And so if you studied enough and you knew the artists that are like have merch fans, like that are heavy, like I'll give you an example, like a Tech Nine, or you wanted to do like a, back in the day, like a Hobson or whatever like that, like they had fans that were super merch heavy. So then if you did pay to get on something, then what you would do is just merch out and just merch out. The only thing that's questionable in this situation is a lot of the bigger venues, sometimes they take percentages of merch. So then you're going to have to do your numbers, of course, and be like, yo, I only want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they're taking 50% of merch, it doesn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So then I'm not going to pay for to be on the show or whatever. But if you know it's a merch crowd and you have something that that crowd likes merch wise, then go do it, because then you can just merch out. But hey, that's what I feel. Once again, this Music is Day Job. I'm your host, Sean, and Music is Day Job is brought to you by the Qoncert app. The Qoncert app is an artist accelerator app that takes artists from opener to headliner to on tour, gives the fan the best experience in independent live music. Now, once again, all artists get onto the app, because then you can get on shows all over the United States. If we aren't in your area, let me know, and I'll try to start getting out there. If you know of venues, let me know, because then that helps us get into those shows and everything like that. Now, fans also get onto the app so you can start supporting these artists and go see some independent shows and support. Yeah. So like, comment, and subscribe. I'm your host, Sean. This Music is a Day Job. This is Music is a Day Job, brought to you by the Con.